안녕하세요. good morning, my dear brothers and sisters, clergy and ambassador for peace. 안녕하십니까? Today I'd like to talk about God's ideal family and the kingdom of peaceful ideal world 2 from True Mothers Anthology Volume 2. Let's study.
God's ideal family and the kingdom of the peaceful ideal world is the grace of being grafted onto the true olive tree. It was instituted by the true parents who bring God's true lineage to humankind. Once you change your lineage to God's lineage, your offspring will belong to God's lineage naturally. The grace of the marriage blessing includes 3 stages: rebirth, resurrection, and eternal life. Once you receive the true parents' marriage blessing, you can give birth to pure, sinless offspring and build an ideal family. The best way to receive the marriage blessing is with someone from another race, nationality, or religion.
Create wall of peace. I'm talking about the fundamental way how to create wall of peace. The first is changing the blood lineage. To change the blood lineage, you must receive the marriage blessing to the true parents who came with the true blood lineage of heaven. That offers the fallen people who are the wild olive trees the grace of being grafted onto the true parents who came as the true olive tree. In a word, the providence of restoration is changing the first blood lineage into the true blood lineage. This is because you cannot change your offspring without changing the blood lineage. The second best way to create a wall of peace is by receiving the marriage blessing with someone from another race, nationality, or religion. In God's sight, skin color makes no difference. God does not recognize national borders. God does not stand behind the barriers of the religion and culture. You have the mission to teach the members of your families and clans that the cross-cultural marriage blessing is the ultimate means to establish a peaceful, ideal world here on earth. Externally, this cross-cultural marriage blessing is creating one family under God by overcoming the barriers of race and culture, national borders and religion. However, internally, it is crossing and interchanging from Satan's first blood lineage to true parents' true blood lineage. Living divine principle and human history is the history of the providence of restoration. Today, talking about trends in the history of conflict. Let's study EDP.
Trends in the history of conflict. Third, examining trends make a perfect relationship with each other. Then, such individuals are engaged as man and woman to form a family, and that family interrelates with other families in the relationship of Cain and Abel. In this process, the history of conflict between Cain and Abel inevitably happens, just as mind and body conflict with each other within the same self-individual. The conflict inevitably happens in the family as well. Originally, a man and woman of perfect character can understand God's will, and no matter what happens, they become one in heart with each other, centered on the will. However, those who can't do that inevitably struggle. If a husband and wife become one and stand before their tribe in the position of an Abel-type family, they
are bound to be in conflict when they are self-centered. Even in relationship in the family, the history of the conflict between Cain and Abel will arise between fallen husband and wife. Conflict and struggle exist wherever we go. Therefore, faith is to overcome them all the time. What does faith mean? Faith means is overcoming. And we must challenge ourselves again and keep going forward. Next content. In conflict when they are self-centered. Even in relationship in the family, the history of the conflict between Cain and Abel will arise between fallen husband and wife. Conflict and struggle exist wherever we go. Therefore, faith is to overcome them all the time. What does faith mean? Faith means is overcoming. And we must challenge ourselves again and keep going forward. Next content.
In the fight centered on myself, the victory depends on the relationship of subject partner and object partner. However, because of the human fall, the relationship...
What is my victory or failure depend on? It depends on the relationship of the subject partner and object partner. However, because of the human fall, the relationship of the subject partner object partner became contradictory, not corresponsive. So I must necessarily win in the contradictory relationship. If you give up in the process of the fighting, it will necessarily lead to a negative result. Therefore, never ever give up during the fight. Even though it takes time, do not give up. Satan asks you to always give up. But as long as we do not give up and continuously fighting with Satan, even though it takes more time, at the end, finally you win. I must continue to fight until I win. You need to have that kind of strong determination. The most fearful thing is giving up in the middle of the fight, even if it takes 3 years or 10. What is my victory or failure depend on? It depends on the relationship of the subject partner and object partner. However, because of the human fall, the relationship of the subject partner object partner became contradictory, not corresponsive. So I must necessarily win in the contradictory relationship. If you give up in the process of the fighting, it will necessarily lead to a negative result. Therefore, never ever give up during the fight. Even though it takes time, do not give up. Satan asks you to always give up. But as long as we do not give up and continuously fighting with Satan, even though it takes more time, at the end, finally you win. I must continue to fight until I win. You need to have that kind of strong determination. The most fearful thing is giving up in the middle of the fight, even if it takes 3 years or 10 years. I already give up. Let whatever they want, then let them do by themselves. Guidance from Father. I was so inspired. What does faith mean? Faith is overcoming. First, what is the faith? To Father emphasize that faith is overcoming. No matter how big the problem and no matter what difficulties they are, faith is absolute. Faith is about overcoming. Then how is overcoming possible? Have faith that you can overcome any problem as long as God is alive and working. As long as God is alive, as long as God is living God, I can overcome. If God is dead, then I cannot overcome. But if you believe God is living God, God is alive, then you can overcome. You say that I cannot overcome. Whenever I have many worries and difficulties in my life of faith, it means that I do not believe that God is living and working. God is a living God. If you truly believe God is a living God, you truly believe God is alive, you can overcome any difficulties, any problems. That is the faith. What does the faith mean? Faith means overcoming. Secondly, faith is challenging. True Father said that faith is challenging in order for us to overcome the evil world and expand the good world. We need to endless challenges. If we did not challenge, we just end up settling with the reality, and we cannot advance the providence of restoration. We believe in God and take on challenging. Faith is believing that God is living and working, challenging seemingly impossible goals and accomplishing them to testify of the living and working God. So, my brothers and sisters, second is what? Faith is challenging. How you challenge? God is my daddy. God is my father. I'm child of God. As long as really truly believe God is my daddy, my father, is my sponsor, then you can challenge. There is no God, no one guarantee that you cannot challenge. But I am telling you, God is a living God. That's why challenging. As long as this is God's will, as long as this is God's promise, as long as I am doing God's will, why don't you challenge? God is a living God. He will help me. Definitely help me, because this is not my will. This is God's will. This is your will. That's why I need to challenge it. That's why one thing you need to confirm that this is God's will or not. Okay, my wish is God's wish or not. This vision is God's vision or not. As long as you got a confirmation, this is God's will, God's vision. Okay, God's dream need to challenge. That's why faith is what? Overcoming and challenging, and then going up another different dimension, and then challenging again, and overcoming, and then challenging again another level. So this way, our life of faith can grow up. Those who don't want to challenge it, and then you are negotiating with the reality, then you will die. Your spirit is surely will die. Right. That's why you need to know that Father always saying that faith is overcoming, faith is challenging. That's why for me, I don't care the money or external power. Whenever I decide to do something, I always confirm this is God's will or not. I have confidence this is God's will, and then putting my 정성, I already challenge it. Even though no money, I believe in that God is my sponsor, and then challenging and overcoming. So far, I tried that way. It really works, my brothers and sisters. And then faith is to create something from out of nothing, right? It is challenging with the spirit of the utmost sincerity will move heaven. There is nothing that we cannot overcome with the power of 정성. That's why Father's greatest slogan is what? Utmost sincerity moves heaven. So, as long as there is a 정성, you can overcome. So, if we move heaven with our 정성, we can create something from out of the nothing. So we blessed family should set the following slogan and try to challenge ourselves. Move heaven. Okay? Touch God's heart. Move God's heart through my 정성. Then the Almighty and all-knowing God will make everything. What? Everything is what? Everything possible. Then how do we move heaven? Moving heaven is not done by money or power or position. Only our filial heart, passion and 정성 and centered on true parents who promise to achieve one nation and move heaven. Right, my brothers and sisters? So, if we move God's heart, we can create something from out of nothing. That's why anyone do 정성. You can create incredible things actually through 정성 of the morning devotion and change your family and change your church and change our nation history. Wow. through 정성, you can create something from out of nothing. That is faith, my brothers and sisters. Therefore, faith is to make the impossible possible by 정성. I love the word 정성. And nothing is impossible with God, my brothers and sisters. Do you all believe that? Nothing is impossible with God. I also love this Bible verse to believe. You know very much familiar this Bible verse, right? Philip 4:13. I can do everything through him who gives me strength. Again, I can do everything through God who gives me strength. We have no doubt that we can do everything through true parents who gives strength to bless the families, the tribal messiahs. I resonate things like that. They will learn what is the faith. Faith means overcoming. Faith means challenge. Faith means to create something from out of nothing. Grace Youth Ministry, how to educate children. Recently, I'm continually talking about children education, right? So let's start.
Children who do not know their parents' wishes become more self-centered. Children B, thinking that they do not know any better because they are young. It is not that children do not know any better. Even children sometimes know very well what makes their parents happy. That is why parents should educate them, keeping in mind how their children can grow up and act voluntarily from the heart. We need to guide children well so that they will act from the heart, centering on the mother. To do that, the mother needs tears. If children do not come even after the mother has set the table, this is self-centered behavior. If you see such behavior, the mother must persuade them with tears. I cooked food for you all. It is my wish for you to have this meal together with me and the family. If you don't eat, I will be sad to eat alone. How to educate children. On school days, even if the children are busy preparing to go to school, days like Sunday are a great day to have a heart-to-heart talk with your children. These days when the mother and children are together, are hard to come by. That is why the mother should educate children on days like Sunday. Children can act voluntarily and joyfully from the heart. To do that, we need to ask God for wisdom so that our children can obey God with joy. Everybody have some facing, the issue about how to educate children, right? That's why you need to think that your children not belong to you. Your children belong to God. So I am the one who raising up God's children. Sometimes no idea how to educate them. That's why you need to kneel down and pray. Heavenly Father, this child is your child. As the fallen man, as the fallen parent, I do not know how to educate them, how to make them happy. I need to ask you, okay, Heavenly Father, you give me wisdom. You give me some hint how to raise up your children very well. Normally parents worry about their children, but they do not get wisdom from heaven. Do not discuss with heaven. That's the problem. God knows that. God's one of the main purposes of how to raise his own children. That is God's homework as well. That's why when you kneel down and purely ask, sincerely ask, what to our with your prayer, God surely giving you wisdom. This is my own experience as well. Since we do not educate our children as our own children, but as God's children, if we beg God for the wisdom, He surely will teach us. This is because even God's extreme interest in educating children
In educating children, we cannot just be worried that children do not listen to us. When we raise our children, we need to raise them by always asking God and discussing with God. In order to beg for wisdom to raise our children well, as God's sons and daughters, we need to cling. We need to cling on to heaven and beg. And then we need to plead to God with tears, asking Him to teach us wisdom and service. How could God not listen if I empty my heart and desperately plead to heaven to raise my children as God's children? If the mother just raised them by nagging a lot and teach them in a commanding way, the children's stubbornness will grow stronger and they will not listen to their mother. That's why the using the humanistic way, okay, without involving God, then children become very horizontal. They seldom listen to the parents' opinion. As children with strong stubbornness become older, they will not obey their parents. They do not know their parents' wishes and will just enjoy hobbies centered on themselves and spend their time as they please. Then their stubbornness gradually gets stronger and stronger and stronger. The whole is acting in one's own will, as you know that. Adam and Eve, they were so stubborn. They do not listen. Even Almighty God's commandment, they do not listen. The fall is acting in one's own will. Once children start acting as they please, they start to gradually leave their parents' side. You must know this well, and then strengthen children out so that they grow upright without missing the right time. You should not just let children be, thinking that they do not know any better because they are young. It is not the children do not know any better. If children do not listen to their mother well, the mother should educate them even by shedding tears. And the mother must always think and pray about how to lead her children. When the mother teaches while shedding tears, her children become solemn and listen to her. This is one of my example case. When I was young, at the time, maybe, elementary school, maybe, 12 or 13 years old, I fight with my brother. My brother really hit me, and we are fighting. And then also, I did not listen to what mother talking about. At the time, my mother did not know divine principle at all. You know how my mother's action? And then my mother called my older brother and me. And in front of us, she cried and cried and cried. How come you fight each other? How come you do not listen to me? I saw my mother's tears. And then I determined I don't want to my mother cry again. Wow. It was a really great turning point to me to not fight anymore with my brother. My mother's tears changed my life, changed my attitude with my brother because of my mother's tears. It was a really, really great experience to me. On school day, even if the children are busy preparing to go to school, days like Sunday are the great day to have a heart-to-heart talk with your children. When you're sincerely guiding your own children, your children's attitude can be changed. These days, when the mother and children are together, are harder to come by, right? The mother should educate children on days like Sunday. Aren't you all happy to always live because of me? And I am also happy when I live for you, right? In this way, you must teach them that family must live a family life for the sake of each other's happiness. My heart always moving and changing. How I change my heart when I see two fathers' tears. When he talk about God's sorrow, really hit my heart and change my life. When I see trauma's tears and then reflect on myself and change my attitude, how come I let my true mother cry? How can I let our true father cry? I can't do that. That's why mother's tears, parents' tears, very, very important. When you teach them sincerely, gentlemen, God's wish, your children will be changed. If you teach them that you, the mother, feel this stress when the children do as they please, and that you are also unhappy when you do as you please, then children will come to understand well. Since the children are so sensitive, they know right away. Wow, not easy, my brothers and sisters, right? Really not easy to educate our children. This is the most difficult task. Even to me. I have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Not easy to me, for me, Of course, they are doing well, attending from they really willingly, happily, joyfully attending from the care, Still far away to go. I'm so struggling sometimes, to be honest with you. But still I am challenging. If I stay with my family members every day, I have more opportunity to have a heartist relationship. I only visit my home like, twice or 3 times a year. Just only spend time very short. Not easy to handle. That's why my wife need to bear all the cross. I feel so sorry about that. I know you have own situation, right? I know it's not easy to educate your children, right? I understand you. However, let's learn from true father's guidance. Kneel down and pray about it. We need to get wisdom from heavenly parents and true parents, right? Today I talk about how to educate our children. Thank you very much.